This is Savage. I'm diving in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your favorite sweaty on the internet, Mikey Savage 21, bringing you another movie review. And today I'm going to be looking at the 2017 film known as Ghost in the Shell, which is directed by Rupert Sanders and stars Scarlett Johansson, Takeshi Kitano, Michael Pitt, Pilou Asbæk, Shin Han, and Juliette Binoche. And this basically is a film that's set near in the future where the line between humans and robots is almost basically becoming blurred. And the main central plot focuses on a woman named Major who has her brain placed into a cyborg body to become the perfect soldier, and she yearns to learn of her past before she became known as Major. Now, this, if you guys do not know, is a remake of a famous Japanese anime movie and TV series property known as Ghost in the Shell. And did they do it right this time? Well, no, they did not. All right, but let's talk about some positives before we get into the negatives. One of the positives that I really want to spot out right away is Scarlett Johansson. Now, Scarlett Johansson, I liked her in this movie. I didn't think necessarily the script was great, but I liked her in this movie. I liked her acting prowess, and I love her doing all these action stunts. I think she is actually one of the main parts that I really like about this film, because she always gives it her all, whether it's the Avengers movies, whether it's Lucy, and again, she just puts everything she has when she does these films. One of the other people that I want to spotlight is Pilou Asbæk. I actually did not mind him playing the character of Bateau. I thought it was fine. I didn't mind Takeshi Kitano as playing Beat. Other than that, that's all the positives that I have as far as casting goes. One of the other things that I really want to spotlight that I think you all must know about this film is that it is beautifully directed. The cinematography in this movie alone deserves high praise, because I felt like I was in a futuristic Tokyo-esque world. This looks so amazing. It looks so great. And I didn't check this out in IMAX or in IMAX 3D, but I imagine that the IMAX 3D on this movie was massively awesome. So if you are a person who is more passionate about cinematography and don't necessarily care about characters, or you don't necessarily care about stories or dialogue or scripts or anything, then check this movie out. But guys, I know you've all been waiting for it. Let's get into the negatives. Yes, I could destroy this film and pick it apart piece by piece because, again, it does not hold up to the original property. Cinematography-wise, it can, but story-wise and character-wise, no. Okay, so one of the biggest problems that I had with this off the bat was the lack of diversity in this cast. And I'm not talking about them whitewashing. I don't mind that at all. Literally, there were not that many Asians in this film. Literally, there were not. Like, there was one scene where Scarlett Johansson has to take on these bad guys, and literally it's one person playing like 10 bad guys. They all look the same in the face. And that's not me throwing shade or being funny either. I'm seriously, one actor played a group of like robot mercenaries basically. I'm like, you could have went out and found some more Asian actors, whether they're Asian American or fully Asian. You could have went out and found a bit more of a diverse cast. I think we're living in 2017. The American audience is fine if you give them a diverse cast, as long as you give them good bits of dialogue and they have a good story. Now, speaking of story, that's the next negative I have, the story. I don't mind people remaking movies and taking liberties with the story and changing it up to fit their particular narrative that they want to tell, but this one was just so poorly directed that I can't not ignore it. I cannot ignore it. The story here was just bad. Mr. Sanders, I'm not trying to talk bad about you, but anybody who had some form of writing on this film, you need to go back to class, because this was not good at all. I mean, right off the bat, again, we're just thrusted into this movie, no type of backstory on why her brain was put into this body, and then we just basically are forced to accept it, whereas in the original, she knew that, yeah, she had a past life, but she didn't care. She was more focused on the villain of the story. Whereas here, she was more focused on her past, and she's more focused on her relationship with the characters and everything. Rightfully so, that's fine. Anything that's got character-driven story beats in it, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Now, the next part I feel that I have to mention is the main central villain in here. Now, we all, in most movies, have a central villain. You have the underlings, and then you have the main villain, and then sometimes you'll have an even greater villain than the one you just set up. I felt like both villains in here that they set up were horrible. I didn't care about either one of them. One of them, you could say he wasn't even really a villain. He was more just there for story plot purposes, and it really, again, did not serve the story very well at all. And again, the main villain we had, who I will not spoil, was just kind of like one note, like, well, I kind of already knew this person was going to be the villain already. You didn't even have to bother with backstory, but he was still a one-note villain. And then the way we end up at the end of the film really did not pan out as well. For me, this movie was highly disappointing. I expected a lot out of this film. I mean, again, I saw the original anime when I was growing up, so I wasn't expecting it to be a shot-by-shot remake of that. I knew they were going to take liberties and they were going to change things up, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I feel like you have to do it in a way that separates you from the original, but does it in a very unique and creative way, and I feel like they failed to do this. And the box office numbers support that. Here in the States, it only made $19 million. Yes, you have Power Rangers that's going against, and it's going against the juggernaut known as Beauty and the Beast, and of course the unexpected hit Boss Baby, but still, it should have been able to bring in a lot more than $19 million. So for me, regrettably, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 5 out of a 10. To me, this was not a great film. Again, the cinematography was beautiful. I could talk about that for hours, but everything else around the cinematography and in the world did not help. Again, I thought Scarlett Johansson was giving it her all. I had no problem with her whatsoever. Again, Takeshi Kitano, thought he was great in the role of Beat. And again, Pilou Asbæk as Binoche. Everybody else around the story did not fit. So guys, let me know, what did you think of Ghost in the Shell? Did you get a chance to check it out this weekend, or did you already check it out the week prior? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as well, make sure you stay tuned for the next movie review. I got my review for Boss Baby going up later on today. Thank you as always for checking out my movie reviews. It's much appreciated. And as always, don't forget to become a savage, stay savage, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace out, y'all.